Okay, now the second question
Day-to-day
is,
tasks.
what were your day-to-day tasks?
Um, After I had a job marked out, I would pull the pipe. I would do the interior hookup. I would build the valve manifold and label as far as zones, which would correspond to the controller in the garage, the timer.
Yeah.
Then I would go to the next job and carry on. And throughout the day, I would have to go back and check on my employees to make sure the system is installed in the day,
Gotcha.
start to finish.
Everything, like
Everything,
all.
and when I leave, everything is up and running.
Gotcha.
No leaks, no problems, no nothing.
Okay. Now, additionally, um, so when you said like the head unit is that like it controls everything
The
regarding
timer, yes.
Yes. Okay.
I would program zone 1, zone 2. A lot of them go up to 12 zones. You don't have to use them all. You can.
Okay.
And then you set how long you want that zone to run for every day. And it has a backup battery and it is plugged in. So even if your power fails, your sprinkler system will still come on and work. And if it rains, the rain sensor, um,
Yeah.
the rain sensor tells it rained enough to where it does not need to come on.
Gotcha.
So you don't waste water or flood your house.
Yeah.
Okay, question 3. Part-time or full-time, main income or side income?
Okay.
That time it was seasonal, full-time, 60 to 80 hours a week. And it would take me most of the way through the winter. Anything else was subsidized by plowing, running equipment, pulling people out of ditches.
Probably should give some context for that.
I towed for the police and also did repossessions.
That's fun. Okay. Was like, is there any form of like higher education needed, or would it be good in like that field of work?
It would be helpful to know conversions on the fly, because a lot of times you're going metric to English, English back to metric for pressure readings, stuff like that, depending on which brand head you use or pipe, even if you source it from out of the country. I always, on the inside, I always use Schedule 40 CPVC, which is the thicker.
Yeah.
And I foam wrapped it, and the outside was just regular PVC, 1.5 inch, usually, unless it was a big place like a golf course, it'd be 3 to 4 inch pipe.
Okay. That's cool. I didn't know that.
And yeah, a little bit of education. Other than that, training will be done on the job, and it's basically up to who catches on the quickest, who learns how to sink heads and glue the pipe and get everything perfect faster. Then you'll start pulling pipe, and then you'll start. The hardest thing really is the interior hookup and the timer hookup.
Okay. Is there any like would a like taking like welding, like taking like welding courses, would that assist?
Not really for that position, no.
Okay.
For other areas, yes.
Okay. What is the impact on people in the industry? How does your job impact the general public?
In agricultural areas, well, say I was hooking up for a farm, which I've only worked on one farm for irrigation, or say MBNA Bank on 273 when it was MBNA. I did that. I planned that job. I installed that whole property, including having a drill under Route 4.
Oh, fun.
So there are other things that running equipment, quick measurements, quick actions, and being able to see what's going to happen before it happens.
Gotcha. So
basically you have to look 3 steps down the line.
Yeah.
As you're doing what you're doing, because if not, you're going to end up running a pipe over another pipe or crossing zones with different valves, and they're going to come on at wrong times.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I can see that.
And it also alleviates people if they have a garden and they have to work. Their garden will be watered, their lawn will be watered, they will have an impeccable landscape,
Yeah,
and they don't have to do anything for it.
yeah, they can just idly sit by.
Yes. It's fully autonomous.
Yeah. Um, what was your estimated income at that time, and how much did you spend like on your resources?
My estimated income at that time, funny enough, I made more than my mother. I was 16.
Oh, can you give like a rough estimate as to how much?
65,000 a year.
That's pretty good.
3,500 a week, 4 grand a week, depending on how many systems I installed. If I did succeed on the systems that were small enough for 1 day installations, I got a bonus, which I would use as an incentive for the guys under me. I would treat them lunch,
Yeah.
buy them
Boosting
a case
morale.
of beer at the end of the week.
Yeah.
That bonus would go back to them, not me, but it was
Your bonus.
Yeah, it
still
was
gave to them 'cause they
pushing the
worked.
company farther,
harder.
and it was
Yeah.
taking me higher up, where I would make more money regardless.
Yeah. That's interesting.
There's always room to move there.
Gotcha. Now, how many people did you actually work over? Like, not your.
Generally,
under-
on a daily basis, I would have anywhere 4 to 6. On big jobs, I could have anywhere of 20, and then have to coordinate with another landscaping company like Moon, because they would come in, put the plants and the trees, but I would have the blueprints for where they all go.
Okay.
So my irrigation would go in before they would plant.
Yeah.
I
So you
knew
make sure
what
plants
plants were
have
going where, so they had the adequate drippers or drip irrigation or spray heads for bushes and stuff. So I had to meet deadlines. There was no excuse other than being rained out, because normally it was mud, it was dirt. There was no lawn yet.
Yeah.
A lot of times we also sold a package, which was the irrigation system, and then when we would put sod over it, so you would leave to go to work and you'd come home and you'd have a green lawn. It would be dirt when you left, you'd come home to a lush green lawn.
That must be an interesting sight.
Yeah.
Um, any advice on about the future of your career path? Like, had you stuck in that career?
If I would have stuck to doing that, I basically had gotten to the point, because it's seasonal work, that I would have had to open my own
Okay.
and done more than just irrigation.
Yeah.
You can make
Like
a
your
living
full
on just
landscaping.
irrigation, but in Delaware right now, they pretty much have it locked down. There's Cloudburst, there's a bunch of companies, very
Yeah.
big companies, Borsello, stuff like that, that Green Line, do everything.
Okay.
So you really have to be a jack of all trades. You have to be able to cut grass, landscape, hardscape, put patios in, build decks, put irrigation in, that way, and plow, snow, salt. That would be the only way to get higher in that. Unless you move to a bigger company, which then you'd be stuck in an office, and I can't stand being stuck in an office.
No. It's too claustrophobic.
Yes, very
Oh.
much so. I'm the type, and I also do not excel if I have someone standing over top of me, like a
Yeah.
boss. I excel when I'm my own boss. When I do what I have to do by myself, I don't
Yeah.
need someone
Constantly under you,
breathing down my neck.
micromanaging you.
Yeah, micromanaging me. I do
Yeah.
things the way I do them, and I get them done
Yeah.
correctly at that.
Oh, I know. Additionally, what was like the average machine cost for like tools you were using?
Well, I'd say you had to have a pretty good pickup truck. I would recommend 250 to 350. You At the time, the best machine was a Case Maxi Sneaker, like sneak
Yeah.
quietly.
Yeah.
So it looked like a giant chainsaw blade on the front for trenching. It also had poles so I could drill under sidewalks or narrow driveways. And it had a blade on the back with the shaker. and it looked like a giant Chinese finger trap. You would tape the pipe at the end and slide it in and pull it tight and sink the blade as deep as it could go into the ground. Turn the shaker on and start pulling pipe. That's the most, other than the truck, the trailer, and that machine, other than that, all you need are shovels and rakes and things to cut and glue pipe,
Gotcha.
a hammer drill. Expense wise, truck, trailer, machine, you got a used machine, 15 to 22, brand new, 30,000, 35,000, and then, you know, trucks, trailers.
Yeah.
It's expensive to start. Each job, a one-day job, after employees are paid, fuel's paid, any incidentals are paid, you usually pocket $3,500 on a one-day install.
That's not bad.
So if you have enough installations going, you're good. Again, one other thing I'd like to add is where you're installing. If you're installing in North Wilmington or up here in Pennsylvania, it's going to take a lot longer to dig and a lot longer to pull the pipe. Big rocks, big roots, clay, hard soil.
Yeah.
Down below the canal, it eases up. Middletown is a very good area. Down at the beach,
Yeah.
it's sand. It's very easy. I could put two systems in one day. With a 3-man crew, I would do each hookup and leave 3 guys on each home, and they would have both done in one day.
That's good. Additionally, did you ever do any of the work in like residential and neighborhoods?
Yes, that's the majority.
Okay.
I had large businesses, but residential was the majority of what I did.
Okay. About how many houses or like irrigation systems did you put in place or build? Right?
5,000, 7,500 without even pushing it.
And how long did you work in this career field?
4 years on and off.
Wow. I feel like
If you can put one system in a day, 2 systems in a day, and eventually it got to the point where I had another person under me that was running 2 other crews as well.
Oh, okay.
So that would bring it up to 4 or 5 systems a day. And if there was only a little bit left on one, I'd button that one up, and that'd be a 6th.
Yeah. Okay, I don't think I have any more questions. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
That just leads you into bigger, better projects and bigger, and I don't know how to explain it. You like to do what you're going to do. So if you like to play with big machines and get paid a lot of money for doing that, that's a great way to start.
Interesting.
It gives you a very good starter set on how to judge inclines, how to judge the ground, period.
Gotcha.
Hydraulics, etc. If you have a hydraulic blowout, you have to dig out 3 foot under the machine, and that's within the first 3 hours. Every hour you have to dig another foot.
Oh, that's
The hydraulic fluid's very bad. It'll kill everything around it.
I can see why you don't want to spill that.
And you can't. The EPA will get you if you don't dig it out. Which brings in the mini excavators, the skid steers, all that kind of stuff, which is secondary for irrigation.
Yeah.
The only other thing than a maxi sneaker would be a bullet, which can go under roadways. It kind of twists and pushes at the same time.
Gotcha.
And just so it doesn't hit anything very hard and big, it won't come up out of the middle of the road or driveway. Because I've had to fix that.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
No fault of my own, but when the builder buries a boulder
in the middle of the driveway.
Yeah, it kind of came right up through the driveway, and I had to pay to pave the driveway.
Interesting. Okay. So if I am correct, you did some work in like working with like mushroom dirt. Am I wrong?
Wasn't mushroom dirt.
Ah,
It was, but it wasn't. It was being used for many things. It was being used for roofing, so you could actually grow vegetables or grass or whatever on your roof, or
okay,
all the way down to just garden soil and topsoil.
okay.
I had two machines that would mix it, separate the stones and everything, and leave a pile of pure dirt with all aerated and fluffed that they would load in the trucks to go to farms, and that's what they would put down before they planted every season. Uh, if you go to Philadelphia or Strasburg Railroad, there's two parks. All the dirt you see there, all the plants and trees you see there,
Yeah.
came from Laurel Valley. I made it.
Oh,
It's on their
okay.
Facebook page if you look it up.
Okay.
Actually, they're, all the machines are Volvos. When you see a John Deere running, that's me.
Oh.
And
Okay.
there's a one point you see two coming to a big pile. The one's a Volvo on the right, John Deere's on the left.
Yeah.
I'm in the John Deere at the left as we're scooping at the same time and backing up.
Okay. And about, if you had to give like a rough guess as to how much that machinery cost, how much would you say?
That machinery, the screeners alone, the McCluskey 612 is what I ran. That's a $500,000 machine, and if you make a mistake, one belt is thousands.
Ah.
They're powered by turbo diesels, 6 cylinders you'd find in a pickup truck.
Okay.
And as far as the loader, you're anywhere from $750,000 to $2.5 million, depending on the size and brand.
Yeah. Anything you want to add in regard to that? Anything? Any interesting details?
Well, the McCluskey's a really good machine. I've had an engine block and a whole differential for a car go through it and come out on the tailings belt.
I have more questions now. How did that happen?
Because the dirt just comes in on dump trucks and then bulldozers make it into a pile, and then we have to mix it. So we would take the garden soil, which is the darkest, which is basically mushroom soil,
Yeah.
and we would dump it on fill dirt, basically real light tan, hard, clumpy dirt,
Gotcha.
and we would take that and fill a bucket, put it in the machine. Well, it shakes, and the trommel turns, and it has holes in the trommel, so all stones and everything fall out of that, and all the good dirt falls onto another belt right below it and comes out the front of the machine, and the tailings belt comes out of the back of the machine. Along with that, there's been tree stumps. I've had my machine bogged down numerous times from giant tree stumps. I've had a belt replaced twice because they had no grizzly bars on that machine. Grizzly bars are thick steel bars, so nothing over a foot wide is supposed to go into the hopper.
Gotcha.
And once it builds up with rocks, it can lift and dump by itself with you hitting a button. I had no grizzly bars. So anything that could fit into a bucket of a machine that could fit most small SUVs today, I would never know.
Ah.
So they hide stuff in the dirt to get rid of it for free, basically.
All right. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I
Anything
have
you want to
questions.
know? Any questions? Driving the dump truck, driving the water truck?
Ah, yes. How complicated was that? I'm presuming,
Which
like, just operating the machinery.
operating machinery, the screener wasn't hard. The plant, I would get there, I would check its fluids, oil, coolant, hydraulic fluid in the tank, start it, let it idle while I started my loader. I would go fill my loader with fuel, bring it back around. I would go get the fuel truck and fill my plant with fuel, and then take the fuel truck and top it back off. It only holds 250 gallons. These machines hold a lot and go through a lot. So they're asked every time you use the truck to refill it.
Gotcha.
Because if one plant goes dead empty, it'll take the whole tank. The water truck, you can't drink the water. I wouldn't want it on my hands. It got there. I always wore gloves, but it's to control dust. So they have a settling pond across the road.
Okay.
It's a little F-750 water truck, and it has water sprayers in the front and back, and it also has it's not handheld, it's mounted, but hand controllable in case a fire breaks out. You have a pump truck on site with a tank,
Ready to
and
control.
across the way they have a pump to fill the truck right down the street.
Yeah,
It's all their property.
I figured. Because that'd probably be smart to buy.
They
one.
also grow mushrooms and all other stuff. I just worked in that section of
Gotcha.
making
Soil.
different types of soil, roofing compounds, also the stuff that they put on shingles for your roof.
Yeah.
Okay, I made that.
Oh.
Different colors, different textures, mixed sand with a little bit of tiny gravel, and you've got what they pour over the hot tar that's on the paper of the shingles. So I made a variety of soils and I'm drawing a blank, just product.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I'm learning so much about you that I didn't know before.
Any other questions about any of this? Cutting grass, zero turns?
Yes. Regarding that, how long did you work in landscaping other than
I
irrigation?
started working in landscaping and cutting grass at 12. I'm 37 and I've been in and out of it my whole life.
Okay.
So I can't really give you a 1237 figure it out.
Yeah, just a number of years.
I also towed for years and was an ASE certified technician for years. So I did a lot in 37 years.
Oh yeah, I'm well aware.
Some overlapped others, or some went on at the same time as others. Like I plowed as I repoed.
Yeah.
I towed for the police as I repoed. I did a whole bunch of things.
Okay. You have had such an interesting life.
If you want to call it that.
There's a lot of things that have gone on.
My final comment is always be conscious of your body. Do not try to lift heavier than you can. Do not jump down from anything high in the air if you don't absolutely have to. And be safe, because I have destroyed my body in working in these fields.
Yeah,
You can attest to my whole spine needs to be put back together. My shoulder, my knee, my foot, my ankle,
fun injuries.
Yeah, my ribs. That was all me though.
Yeah.
My neck. And a car accident.
Yeah, that probably was a big part
13 subarachnoid brain hemorrhages, and then also being hit and run over by one.
That's fun.
So yeah, be careful whatever you do, and do not stress your back.
Okay, well I appreciate it. I've learned a lot about you.
Also wear steel toe. The lighter the better. Composite is okay unless you're working around machines, as I was in Laurel Valley. Then you want steel toe, steel heel, and steel plate on the bottom, which those boots right there have.
Yeah.
They have a steel toe, and there are also rubberized heel and toe. Make sure your feet are taken care of. From the socks, if your feet sweat a lot, bring another pair of socks. Make sure they're cushioning, because there's days where you're sitting in your machine all day, and there's days where you're standing all day. So Make sure your feet are comfortable but
Gotcha.
taken care of. Also, if you have long hair, make sure it is braided
Pulled back.
or put back up under a hat. Don't wear any jewelry or any loose clothing. A belt, a fan, anything. Something you may not even think of could grab a hold of you and pull you into that machine, and there's nothing you can do. And that goes all the way down to a car.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
And don't grab things unless you know what they are.
That makes sense. 'Cause, yeah, you don't want to grab something
It
that's.
could be very hot, could be very cold.
Yeah.
It could electrocute you, depending on the wiring, of course.
Yeah.
But you know, these machines are used in and out
Daily.
I mean, day and night.
Mm-hmm.
When they break, they get looked at. Other than that, it's wrap tape around it and go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't have any other questions. So if there's anything you want to add.
No, just take care of your body, take care of your feet, and go as fast as you can safely. Pay attention, ask questions, and there's no such thing as a stupid. Well, there is, but there's no such thing as a stupid question. Because if you're unsure, it's better to ask than get hurt or hurt someone else.
Yeah.
Or make everything you did that day have to go get thrown away.
Redone.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate this.
Not a problem, son.
Yep.